Hi, I'm Eberhardt. Thank you for having me here, first of all. Thank you, Jim, for giving me a chance to catch breath. I'll start out with, my name is Eberhardt, and I'm with the Dustin Inman Society. And the Dustin Inman Society is named for a little boy who will forever be 16 years old. On Father's Day weekend, he and his family, his mom and his dad, he was the only child, went up to the North Georgia mountains on Father's Day weekend. As they were sitting at a red light, it was in L.J., Georgia, an illegal alien slammed into the back of them and pushed them into the vehicle in front of them. So Dustin Inman was killed instantly. Mr. Inman he's doing okay, of course, except for the loss of his son. And Mrs. Inman has been in a wheelchair and has been doing surgeries ever since. So that's what this organization is named for, Dustin Inman and the Dustin Inman Society. As I know you've heard a lot about comprehensive immigration reform, a lot of things in the news about that. Basically, comprehensive immigration reform is amnesty warmed over. We did that in 1986 under Ronald Reagan. He provided amnesty for all of the folks that were here legally. In 1986, he granted amnesty to 3 million illegal aliens. By 1997, we had another 5 million illegal aliens. And of course, today we have between 12 and 20 million illegal aliens here. So clearly, amnesty does not solve the problem. You'll also hear terms like a pathway to citizenship or earned citizenship. Well, the pathway to citizenship is the same pathway that over 1 million people take every year to become legal immigrants in our country. So you'll hear those kinds of terms and often used by the left, but this is what they really mean. And next, you've heard a lot about Arizona. Arizona is the SB 1070 and how the government is suing them. Basically, Arizona law mirrors federal law. It's the same thing. And it's taken a program that's called 287G. And what 287G does, it allows federal agencies to partner with local law enforcement to enforce immigration laws. So what it says basically is if you're in the commission of a crime, then they can also ask you, are you here legally? They can ask for your immigration status. So unlike what you've been hearing a lot in terms of people getting pulled out of ice cream shops or pulled out of their car just for driving, that does not happen because that's not allowed, and there's nothing racial about that. If you don't have a license, if you get a broken tail light, they're going to pull you over as they do everyone.
It really helps if you read the law before making a comment.
It really helps if you read the law before making a comment because it's the exact same thing. And this 287G program was signed into law by Bill Clinton. And the thing is, it works. That's what's happening. And as you hear in Arizona, that even the threat of the law passing has caused people to leave. And that's what's happening. So 287G works, which is why you hear people say they don't want it, because it works. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Exactly, makes sense. And let's see. And let's do the cost of illegal immigration in Georgia. We have to fund K through 12 education because of a Supreme Court decision called Filer versus Doe. And in that decision, it says basically we pay for the K through 12 education of people who are here, legally, illegally, whatever. So that gets caught in a trap. Well, we have to do that according to that Supreme Court decision that came down in 1982. But K through 12 education for here in Georgia, it costs $1.37 billion per year to educate K through 12. That's how much it costs. And of that, $81 million a year is spent just for programs for limited English-speaking people. And maybe not all illegal aliens, but of course, limited English can include the illegal alien population. That boils down to about, for K through 12, that boils down to about $8,500 per student per year that we're paying for as Georgia taxpayers for people who should not be here. Plain and simple. The next cost is health care. Illegal aliens are not eligible for health care like Medicare, Medicaid, that sort of thing. But of course they use forged documents to get this health care. Georgia is paying $111 million per year for that. For the emergency room costs, which is what illegal aliens do when they have to get seen after for either a cold or a broken leg or anything, they're going to the emergency room. Georgia taxpayers, that's us again, we're paying $90 million per year for that. So in total for health care costs, we're paying about $210 million a year, again, for illegal aliens, people who should not be here. And last but not least, for incarceration for people who are deportable in Georgia, again, we're paying this every year. We're paying to the tune of about $22.6 million a year. So they say illegal immigration is a victimless crime, not true. Georgia taxpayers, we are the victims of illegal immigration. You'll also hear a lot to the tune of jobs Americans won't do. Well, that's not true. What happens is if you pay a livable wage, Americans will do these jobs. There's stories all over the internet and all out across America that says once illegal aliens leave, or once they are driven out through raids or that sort of thing, then all of a sudden you have an influx of people coming in for those jobs. And that's what happens. So there are no such thing as jobs Americans won't do. They just need to be paid a livable wage to do it. That's it. And let me take a step back right quick. In talking about 287G and enforcement, there's a thing called attrition through enforcement. It's a principle. And what it says is when you enforce illegal immigration laws, illegal aliens self-deport. So you'll often hear stories where people say, well, either you have to give them mass amnesty or you have to deport them all. And those are only your two options. But those are not the only two options. If you enforce the law, they self-deport, which is what is happening in Arizona. And as you notice, they self-deport, crime goes down, people are coming back into jobs, that sort of thing. So when people say you have to do one of those two things, those are not the only options. Take that step forward. And that's on the illegal alien side. Let's go back to the business side now. In businesses, they have a program, or it's a program called E-Verify. And what that does is any business, any public, any Georgia agency, any public agency, any private sector agency, what they can do is sign up for this system. It's free, it's easy to use, it only takes an investment of about 3 hours of time to get trained on it and use it. But this E-Verify system is tagged into the Department of Homeland Security and Social Security databases. And what happens is this business can plug in someone's Social Security number or whatever information they give them, and this system will tell them whether or not this person is eligible to work in the United States. So when businesses say, well, I didn't know I was hiring an illegal alien, that sort of thing, that's not true. They can use this E-Verify system to verify that they are hiring someone that is eligible to work in the United States. Another thing, last but not least, is the SAVE program. And SAVE is it's a database, and Georgia is supposed to be using it, but not all of the Georgia agencies are using it. But what it is a database that allows any agency to check and see if an illegal or if an alien is eligible for benefits in the United States. So when someone goes and applies for housing, which is a public benefit, then they should be able to run their information through the SAVE system, and SAVE will let them know whether or not they're eligible to get access to those benefits. Okay? So that's kind of a quick overview, and I like to spend most of the time doing question and answer because I don't know what you don't know. So, any questions?
Read this inflation out. Thanks, Doctor. But sanctuary cities, how come nothing more has been communicated to the public over the, as I understand, the second largest sanctuary city is in Nancy Pelosi's district, and yet she doesn't have any problem bringing something against somebody trying to enforce federal laws?
Political will. That's all I'm going to say is political will, because they enforce the laws they want to. If you don't pay your taxes, guess what? They're coming after you. They're enforcing that law. Illegal immigration laws, again, political will. And it's sad. It's sad but true. And it's costing us, across the United States, and especially California, where a lot of the people from Arizona are going into California now, and everybody knows the state of California's budget at this point in time. So, any other questions?
I heard that the E-Verify system was being blocked in certain areas because the government wasn't making it accessible to certain companies. There's any truth to that?
Is any truth to that? Because it's a government, E-Verify is a government system that they can go out on the internet and use. So, you know.
What was the question?
Oh, was that E-Verify? I'm sorry. That E-Verify was being blocked, so some companies couldn't get to it. Haven't heard that. If you sign up, you have an employer ID number. You can go to, I think it's www.maybe everify.gov or something to that effect, and you can see the system in action. It's 99.6% accurate, and it only takes seconds to return back whether or not that person.
By law for companies to use it?
Public sector companies like government agencies are supposed to. And I know some folks are working, so private sector companies have to use it too.
Yeah,
So there's a
private
push.
company and you want to bid on government work or sell products to the government, you have to do E-Verify.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to set our E-Verify up for our company. There's only 7 of us, but we do 4. And we have to have training, so there's 2 people who can do the E-Verify. You can't do it for established employees, but if you hire a new employee, you have to do it through E-Verify.
Exactly.
So what happens to that person if they don't qualify?
If they don't qualify, then you have to, tell them tell them you can't work here.
I mean, do they turn them in, do they report it?
They're not obligated as far as I know. But, it'd be a good idea to say, this person's not here. But I don't know if they do that.
They're given 30 days to produce proof of
Documentation,
citizenship. Or say, or they can file a claim, counterclaim saying, oh, this is erroneous, or I'd like to fix it, and the employer gives them 30 days to do that. But at the employer's discretion, they can say, we cannot pay you for that time. It's kind of a gray area.
Yeah.
Did you say how many children of the illegal status officers, K through 12, there are in Georgia?
In Georgia, there are over 150,000. I think the precise number is 155,000. It's costing us a lot of money now. Yeah, they say it's a victimless crime. It's not true.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Too.
We just saw each other's hands. I don't know, if this is not really a question, maybe if you think, but when I went to register my kids at school, they required shop records or a utility bill. And she wanted a utility bill, shop records, and possibly if we did anything in our house, shop records and the utility bill that says it's my name on it and where we live and the same last name. I was translating, they had a Mexican boy come there and they didn't speak English there at the school. I said, okay, I can help. I don't speak fluent, but I speak a little. So I translated, you didn't have a shop record, you didn't have the utility bill, the mother didn't have anything, and do you know they went ahead and registered him? So I went up to her, I said, listen, you just told me I had to do it, otherwise I would get reported to the DFACS office so they can do an investigation on my family. Are you going to do the same thing? She said, no, we can't, because it's their right.
And you'll hear put it this way, the civil rights movement is being co-opted, if you will, for a lot of things, obviously. Listen, to the illegal immigration issue, civil rights are for the citizens of the nation. Right. Okay, illegal aliens are not citizens. So therefore, they're not entitled to the same civil rights as you and I are, as you and me are. So that's how that goes. And illegal is not a race. So when people try to say, oh, you're bashing Hispanics or whatever, illegal is not a race. Okay, and 60% of the people that are here illegally are visa overstayers. The other 40% cross the border. So there's a two-tier problem here. I mean, the issue is the same, but it's two-tier problem. So illegal is not a race, and you have people who were here legally that are now here illegally because they're overstaying their visas.
Okay, a question maybe this time. What about those, okay, let's see, I know a kid from first grade, now he's in 8th grade, that his parents brought him here. He knows nothing but this country. He loves this country. He thinks he's an American. He loves this country. And he knows